Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so glad you're with us today. What we're talking about today are the things you're doing every single day that can be damaging your kidneys. Now, in all the years I've been on radio, I'm not sure I've ever done a whole show on just kidneys, and you're going to think that's pretty boring. It's not, because any of you listening right now are susceptible to kidney damage. Now, when I first got in practice 38 years ago, hate to say that out loud, very seldom did I ever see somebody come in with a kidney problem. Now I see it a couple of times a week. Stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 kidney failure. And a lot of it, almost all of it, has to do with what you're eating. So you may think, well, I'm not going to have that problem. You don't know till you get it. It's like being addicted to drugs. Some people can take drugs and not have an effect. Some people can. Will get effect and become addicted. You don't know that until you do it. Same thing with the kidneys. It's too late many times by the time you find out. So what the kidneys are, they're kidney shaped. How about that? Like kidney beans. And they sit up just below your ribs on either side in your back. They're about the size of your fist. And their job is to filter out junk, maintain the delicate balance of fluids in your body, maintain certain nutrients in the body. And it's a very fine line that these kidneys walk, trying to keep everything balanced. So if your kidneys are not working properly, it's called chronic kidney disease, CKD. Pretty cool how they did that. And that's just an umbrella term that covers a lot of different problems that can go wrong with your kidneys. Now, chronic kidney disease can lead to complications like high blood pressure, low blood count, bone weakness, poor nutrition, nerve damage, and it increase your risk of heart disease and blood vessel damage as well. So one can cause the other. It can kind of go back and forth. The damage caused by chronic kidney disease occurs over long periods of time, and if left untreated, can eventually lead to kidney failure. And that many times you have to start looking at a kidney transplant or dialysis. Big money in dialysis. There are clinics all over the place. Insurance companies, of course, cover it because it keeps you alive. But almost every patient that is on dialysis did it to themselves. Now, there is some genetics involved. There could be some trauma involved. It could be, birth defects. But almost everyone else, they did it to themselves. And the thing that bothers me in the world of kidneys is nobody's talking about that. Nobody says you have to take some responsibility for your body. Now, the cool part is that the foods we're going to talk about today that are damaging your kidneys also can increase your risk of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity. So this is a good general rule to follow if you're looking to get well and stay well, and certainly reduce your risk if nothing else. So anyone can have kidney disease. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle is really the key. It's not much more than that. And you should be maintaining a healthy lifestyle anyway. I had a meeting today earlier, and I met with somebody, and they were talking about scanning the whole body to look for, conditions, heart disease, diabetes, things like that. And we were just chatting, and the owner of the company says, well, I don't think you even need to scan you. Look at how healthy you are for somebody your age. And I told him how old I was, and he said, you are not. I said, yeah, I am. So I had the scan done. We'll see what the results are. I had the scan done before. My arteries were 100% clear. And hopefully that's going to stay forever. What causes the arteries to get clogged up? Mostly diet. What causes kidney problems? Mostly diet. What causes cancer, heart disease, diabetes? Mostly diet. So the diet is the key here. So let's jump right in with my favorite of all, red meat. I'm kidding. If you're just new to the show, I don't eat meat. Red meat, what's it good for? It's a good source of protein, good source of iron. Yeah, but the cons far outweigh the pros. And that's what I want you to consider whenever you do anything. Whenever you make a decision in life, I'll be your counselor here for a second, you have to make a decision based on one sentence. Is it worth it? And if it's worth it, probably go ahead and do it. But whether it's food, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, if it's worth it, fight for it. Go for it. But if it's not worth it and the negatives far outweigh the positives, consider going in a different direction. And so when it comes to food, this is a real easy decision because nobody's forcing you to eat. You're eating your own food. You're feeding yourself. So red meat, study published in the Journal of American Society of Nephrology. Nephrology is the study of kidneys. They investigated long-term effects of red meat consumption, and what they discovered, there's a correlation between red meat intake and the increased risk of kidney failure. Now, Dr. Greger just had a report out that he did studies, he reported on other studies being done. And what he found that the same amount of animal protein that can cause kidney damage, if you eat the same amount of protein from plants, no kidney damage. So why not eat the plant protein then? Another reason why we want to start to avoid animal products. Red meat, when eaten a lot, I mean, when I say a lot, I say any, but they say in excess, can produce waste products, and that can damage your kidneys because they have to be filtered out through your kidneys. The protein found in red meat produces something called urea, U-R-E-A. That's urine, urea. Okay, so it's a protein, and that can damage the kidneys. Now, one of the ways it does it is it's a very strong acid. So when it's a strong acid, it kind of eats away at the cells in the kidneys and damages them. The problem with the kidney is it's not like the liver. It doesn't just regenerate itself. Now, we have a lot of patients that have kidney failure. I have one of them who went from, just recently, within the past couple of months, she went from 36% function, which is really low, to 46% function. That's a huge jump in just a few weeks. And the way we did it was we changed her diet. We got her off the alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener. We got her on more fruits and vegetables. We got her on specific kidney supplements. And her doctor is blown away. I said, did you tell your doctor to just send all his kidney patients here? Now, can we help everyone? No, I can't promise we can help everyone. But anecdotal stories, I mean, cases from my files clearly show that when you do the right thing, many times the kidneys can start to heal. The liver heals a lot faster, but the kidneys were showing, I don't know if they're healing, but they're functioning better. And that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's just one very recent success story that I just talked to her just the other day. So the protein found in red meat causes urea. Now, too much urea can build up and contribute to kidney damage, especially if your kidneys are already weak. Well, we're going to talk about other things you're doing every day that are weakening your kidneys. So red meats, beef, pork, lamb, they contain saturated fats and cholesterol, and that can raise your cholesterol levels, which worsens the risk of heart disease. That can then increase the risk of kidney disease. There are no individual diseases in human beings, assuming in animals too. I don't study animals. But in humans, we don't have just heart disease. We don't have just cancer. We don't have just high blood pressure. All the organs work together. So if you're putting stress on one organ, you're putting stress on other organs as well. So why, rhetorical question, why would you do something that you know is damaging to your body, it's damaging to the environment, is expensive? I don't care what approach you look at it here. Why would you do that when there are plenty of other alternatives? And that's the key. There's other alternatives. In the medical world, we allow certain drugs to be used or passed or rushed through because it's emergency use, only if there's no other alternatives. Well, when it comes to food, there are other alternatives. And you're making the decision to do the wrong thing. Now, I'm not picking on you. I'm just letting you know. I'm calling the truth. So you got to make decisions. Is it worth it? To me, it's not. Alcohol. Of course, that's probably the world's most acceptable drug, that and coffee. So technically, it's a depressant, which means it slows down your brain, and that affects the way the brain sends messages to the body. If you've listened to my shows in the past, you know that your brain sends messages down your spine, out your nerves, to every cell in the body. So there's a nerve that controls your kidneys and your spleen and your heart and your lungs and your sex organs and your ears, and everything is hardwired to the brain by way of a nerve. So if you start suppressing your brain, you're suppressing the brain's ability to send messages to the organs to tell the organs how to work. One of the many reasons I don't drink. I like being on top of my game at all times. I like the flavor of alcohol, but I don't drink because I know it can suppress my brain. So not only my cognitive function, my thought processes, but it can affect my organ function as well. So drinking alcohol frequently can increase your risk of high blood pressure and diabetes, and those can be precursors to kidney disease. Those who have onset kidney problems, the damage can be a lot worse or already have some kidney damage to begin with. So maybe you have some genetics. Maybe you were born not 100% perfect. And now you're just making it worse. And a lot of times you don't know you have these underlying issues until it's too late. So I always say act as if. Assume that you have underlying issues and then act accordingly. So alcohol has a lot of other harmful effects, of course. Study published in Nephrology Dialysis Transplant Journal, another fun journal you have at your house, discusses the effects of alcohol and the potential of chronic kidney disease. Aside from damage to your kidneys, excessive alcohol consumption also puts you at higher risk of high blood pressure and stroke. So is your kidneys going to fail? Is it a stroke? Is it going to be a heart attack? Is it going to be low testosterone? That's the kicker. When we talk about alcohol, you think, well, alcohol is going to make me sexy, and I'm going to get all frisky, and I'm going to be all cool and bad person. And what happens is alcohol lowers your testosterone level. So it actually makes you less functional. Now, you might do stupid things. You may be less inhibited, but it's actually lowering your testosterone levels. Testosterone is necessary not only for your biceps and your triceps, it's also necessary for your heart, which is a muscle, your sex organs, your blood vessels. Not a big fan of alcohol, if you can avoid it. If you are going to drink, because I'm also a realist, if you are going to drink, if you've listened to my shows I've done on alcohol, 3 glasses of water for every 1 drink. That's my rule. If you're going to drink, you have to have 3 glasses of water for every drink that you have. This way you don't dehydrate yourself, you flush out the toxins, and you mitigate a lot of the alcohol damage. Table salt. You always hear about table salt for high blood pressure, but it can be an issue both ways, too much or too little. Now, if you're having heat stroke, if you've been sweating a lot, and when I say a lot, you have to be performing at elite athlete level for 40 minutes to actually start to deplete your levels of salt. So if you're a casual runner, you're going to go out rollerblading or biking one day, you don't need to add salt to your diet. When I played football, we used to have salt tablets in the locker room. Stupid. Because we weren't performing at peak performance for 40 minutes. And very seldom is somebody young going to deplete their levels of salt. Now, could it happen? Yes, but you don't need it in most cases. Now, if you want to do an electrolyte drink, have yourself a glass of water with maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of air-dried sea salt in it. There's your free, or essentially free, electrolyte drink. You don't need things with chemicals and dyes and additives and artificial sweeteners that come in fancy bottles that support, major football teams. You can have a banana, replace your electrolytes. Apricots, replace your electrolytes. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. A lot of athletes use Super Greens and Essential Source because it's not toxic like salt, but it's still adding a lot of those nutrients back in. And Super Greens and Essential Source, if you don't know, they're on our website, drjoe.com. Those are the minimum supplements you should be taking every day. And by the way, our patient that I told you about a few minutes ago that went from 36% to 46% kidney function in a few weeks, she was taking Super Greens and Essential Source as part of her protocol as well. Not saying it cured it, just saying what she did. Recommendation for salt is about 6 grams or about 1 teaspoon a day. Now, with today's processed foods and beverages, there's even salt in soda. Because salt causes your body, your salivary glands to release saliva. Saliva helps break down carbohydrates to make things taste sweeter. So a little bit of salt makes things actually taste sweeter because you're producing more amylase, which is in your saliva. And amylase breaks down carbohydrates. So you have to be pretty vigilant if you're going to stay away from the toxic levels of salt. And the way you do that is very simple. You just don't eat a lot of bad foods. You don't eat a lot of processed foods. Now, if you don't know what to eat, if you go to our website, drjoe.com, we have the starter kit. Type in the 7 deadly sins of nutrition in the search bar and listen to the lecture we did. I did out in California quite a while ago. And it talks about the 7 foods you want to avoid. Then type in, so what can I eat? 7 deadly sins of nutrition, so what can I eat? Those are the starter programs that I like to get people on. It teaches you what to eat, what not to eat. It's real simple. And by the way, the cost of all the podcasts we have on our website, which is about 2,000 hours of audio and video, plus the blogs, plus contacting me if you have any questions, the cost for all of that, membership for one lifetime, is absolutely free. I don't know how to make it easier for you, folks. drjoe.com is the website. Tons of good information there, including this show will be on the website too once we're done with it. So drjoe.com. And if you want to make an appointment, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches, car accidents, sports injuries, my team of doctors are really good at helping people with pain, with digestive problems, and with nutrition problems. So we really are a one-stop shop when it comes to wellness, the starter kits for wellness. And we have offices in the Atlanta area, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We would love the opportunity to be your doctors. My doctors are handpicked by me, they're trained by me, and they're my personal doctors. If I don't trust them taking care of me and my loved ones, I don't trust them taking care of you. So you're in the hands, in my opinion, some of the best doctors in the world. So drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $720. We've reduced that to $299. That's a 58% savings. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, your first treatment, going over the x-rays and your findings on the next visit, and a complete nutrition evaluation. The nutrition evaluation alone is $150. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be taking advantage of that. If you're ready to get well, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right online or call us, and we accept almost every insurance out there. And if you've ever been in a car accident, this is important. If the car was damaged, you were damaged. You need to come see us right away. Do not waste time. Car accidents are vital to get under treatment right away. Other things that can affect your kidneys. Caffeine. Caffeine's a stimulant, speeds up your nervous system, and me as a chiropractor and a pain management doctor and nutritionist and a orthopedist, we want to make sure we take care of that nervous system. So caffeine speeds up the nervous system, and excessive amounts can raise your blood pressure, cause dizziness, headaches, heart palpitation, restlessness, insomnia, jitters, but it's affecting the function of the kidneys. Now, caffeine is found in things like sodas, medications. Aspirin many times has caffeine in it. And if you ingest it, that can cause the kidneys to become dehydrated because caffeine is a diuretic. The kidneys have to have a very fine balance of fluid. And if you keep dehydrating yourself with sugars and alcohols and caffeine and salts, the kidneys can't do their job. And so that can increase blood pressure, and blood pressure can put more stress on the kidneys. See how everything's connected? And it all is tied into the brain and the spinal cord. Your brain sends messages down your spine, out your nerves to every part of the body. If the bones in the spine move out of place, they can pinch nerves. And if you pinch a nerve, many times that's the cause of back pain. Number one cause of back pain. However, 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. You can have a pinched nerve and not know it. And the nerve that goes to the kidneys, you don't feel your kidneys every day, so that nerve can be pinched and you don't know it. That's why my doctors are trained not only to check the nerves that feel pain, we also check the 90% of the nerves that don't feel pain. Because if we take you on as a patient, I don't want to get you out of pain. I want to get you well. Now, if you want more information on coffee, you can go to our website, drjoe.com, type in the word coffee, and listen to a whole, I think we did an hour or two show on coffee alone. We did all the 7 deadly sins individually: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. So if you want to listen to the whole lecture, you type in the 7 deadly sins. If you're focusing on one of the issues, we've done separate shows on that as well. But caffeine can affect the kidneys as well. Artificial sweeteners. Of all the things I'll ever teach you, the worst thing you put in your body is artificial sweeteners. So it's funny because I was going through this list of foods that damage the kidneys, and it sounds like the things I've been talking about for 40 years now, the 7 deadly sins of nutrition: alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. So I thought, wait a minute, here it is again. Way back when we put this list together, it keeps proving itself over and over again that list is very comprehensive when it comes to a standard treatment to get people well and keep them well. And so the 7 deadly sins, pretty powerful stuff. And it keeps coming back again. Research, time and time again, keeps pointing to those 7 deadly sins. Of all the things I'll teach you, the worst thing you put in your body is artificial sweeteners. They're considered non-nutrition, so they have no nutrition in them at all. But they're everywhere: toothpaste, mouthwash, vitamins, gum, cough syrup, salad dressings, breakfast cereals, snacks. Over 6,000 products, probably more than that now, have artificial sweetener in them. And you never thought about it. So you're looking for things like sucralose, aspartame, saccharin, acesulfame. I know it's a weird word. Acesulfame K it usually has after it. Research study in the National Journal of Biotechnology found that 2 or more servings per day of artificial sweetener soda is associated with increased chances of the kidney decline, and they did that study in women. So to avoid the risk, avoid the artificial sweeteners. It's really simple. You could use stevia. You can use Lohan. There's plenty of other natural 0-calorie sweeteners out there. The artificial ones are the worst of the worst. And if you want to know more about that, just type in artificial sweeteners and listen to the whole show we did on that. I don't want to take up the whole show on that. Dairy products, also bad for you. A lot of research are finding that dairy products do more harm than good. You think they're high in calcium and they're good for your bones? No. I haven't found any valid studies that show it helps build up bone strength. And in fact, there's something called the Nurses study, and it shows that the more dairy products you consume, the higher the rate of osteoporosis, which is thinning of the bones. More dairy products, more osteoporosis. That's not what you're being told. You're told it's good for your bones, it's high in calcium. Read the literature. It's not me coming up with it. It's what the medical research is showing very clearly. And milk is high in calcium and phosphorus, but too much of that can put a strain on your kidneys and throw off your natural balance. So the common case against popular inclusion of dairy products, my argument is that it's part of the 4 basic food groups, and then we put the food pyramid together. A lot of that's going to the wayside, that it was obviously wrong. But when we say we should be drinking milk and we're serving it to kids in high schools and grammar schools and preschools, not a fan of that. You could listen to the show we did on milk, drjoe.com. It covers a lot there. American Society for Clinical Nutrition has linked the use of dairy products, specifically cow's milk, to the occurrence of what's called insulin-dependent diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Milk contains animal proteins. They're highly acidic, and when you have a lot of acid in your body, the body has to use calcium to neutralize the acid. So the body is actually taking calcium out of the bones, out of the blood, out of the muscles to neutralize the acid in the food. Then this relatively big chunk of calcium and acid has to be excreted from the body, and it has to go through the kidneys. And that can irritate the kidneys, clog up the kidneys, and damage the kidneys, and ultimately lead to things like kidney stones. So I don't know anyone, and I've been doing this a long time, anyone who eats a plant-based diet that has ever had kidney stones. I've never known anyone. I've had lots of people that eat a meat-based diet or an animal-based diet. No one has ever, in my career, eaten a plant-based diet and gotten kidney stones. So, gee, Dr. Joe, maybe that's something we should be teaching. Well, I am right now. You're listening to it. Tons of substitutes for dairy: coconut milk, almond milk, rice milk, hemp milk, chia seed milk, soy milk. There's ice cream, there's cheeses, there's butters. There's nothing in the dairy world that we don't have a substitute for. Now, some of the dairy products, I'm not going to lie to you, taste better if they come from real cow milk, but it's not worth it. Once again, is it worth it? And if the answer is yes, then do it. If it's not, don't. I'm convincing you that it's not. Other things that can damage the kidneys: carbonated beverages. Carbonated beverages are infused with carbon dioxide. That's pressurized gas that makes the bubbles, of course. But drinking too many may increase blood pressure, reduce kidney function, and heighten the risk of development of kidney stones. A lot of that has to do with the fact that there's phosphoric acid and sugar in a lot of carbonated beverages, and those things have to be neutralized, and the body uses calcium to neutralize. Calcium binds to it, goes through the kidneys, blocks up the kidneys, and there's your problems. Research has found there is a link between high sugar content in fizzy drinks and cancer. Now, we've known about cancer and sugar for a long time. If you want to know more about cancer, go to my website, drjoe.com, and type in the word cancer. We've done a show on cancer. It can raise your body's production of insulin. That can lead to insulin resistance. That becomes a big issue. So, folks, I got to go to a break. If you have any questions, you can send them to me through my website, drjoe.com. There's a little bot that pops up. Put in your email address. I'll get back to you right away as soon as I can. The supplements we talked about: Super Greens and Essential Source, which, by the way, is really good about alkalizing your system, neutralizing those acids. That's the minimum supplements I believe everybody should be taking every day. That's on the website, drjoe.com. I need you to do me a favor. I want you to follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, because we post every single day. And many times we have giveaways. We give away supplements, gave away concert tickets in the past, blenders, food processors, ice cream makers, natural ice cream makers. So at Dr. Joe Esposito, do it right now. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Any questions, drjoe.com. But make an appointment to come see us. It's really the best thing we can do. And you can do it right online, drjoe.com. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. We're talking today about the things you're doing every single day that can be damaging your kidneys. Now, the same things that I teach you that damages your heart and your lungs and your spleen and your sex organs and your blood vessels and everything else, it's basically the same stuff. So what's good about this is that you don't have to have different dietary plans necessarily to keep your body healthy or to deal with different diseases. The protocol across the board is pretty much the same. There's a little tweak here and there for each condition, but generally speaking, there's a simple protocol. And that's what's so great about what I teach, is that it's not hard, it's easy. And it's much cheaper than anything you're doing right now, and you have total control over it. I don't know how to make that easier for you. Even if you're really poor, You're a struggling college student. You're somebody that's out of work. There's so many inexpensive, healthy foods that you can eat. Beans and rice, organic potatoes. I mean, right there. Ireland survived on potatoes for a long time. It's not the best scenario, but there's a lot of inexpensive foods that you can buy that are actually good for your kidneys and save you a ton of money too. And the nice part is if money isn't the object, it's still the cheap foods that are usually good for you, not the cheap processed foods, the cheap natural foods. So we covered a lot of things. We talked about pinched nerves going to the kidneys. If you have a pinched nerve in the spine, that controls the kidneys. We talked about sugar. We talked about alcohol. We talked about meat. If you smoke, and I always say this, if you smoke, you need to stop. And I understand the addiction. Believe me, I've worked with addicted patients on drugs, on alcohol, on sex, on gambling. And if we get the body normalized, the brain normalizes, and then the body is able to deal with a lot of these issues. So if you smoke, there's smoking clinics out there. There's websites out there. The government wants to get you off the cigarettes. But smoking, one cigarette alone contains over 4,800 chemicals, and 69 of those 4,800 chemicals are known carcinogens. 69 of the ingredients in one puff of smoke are known carcinogens. Now, people say, well, I vape. It's different. It's just as bad. And vaping has become really popular. A lot of people have made a lot of money on vaping, but it's not good. It's not a better substitute. The best substitute is not to smoke at all. And if you get your body healthy, no matter what you have, chances are your cravings are going to go away. If you have an addiction, whether it's food or drugs or whatever it is, go to our website, drjoe.com, and listen to the show we did on addiction. Just type in addiction. And we talk about the neurophysiology of addiction and what you can do to get over that. So whether that addiction is eating, okay, coffee, alcohol, we have programs or protocols put together. Hopefully, will get you there. So not only are smokers higher risk of a lot of diseases, of course, like lung disease, bladder cancer, mouth cancer, smoking increases the risk of heart disease and kidney problems. So once again, another reason, I don't think I need to, beat a dead horse here. No one thinks they should smoke. No one thinks that's good for you. One of the things I was excited about was genetically modified foods and your kidneys. Now, if you don't know what GMOs are, biotechnology, what happened is years ago, they realized that if we can create a food, and it started with things like corn and soy, if we can create a food that we can spray weed killer on that doesn't kill the crop but kills the weeds, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. And so there's two ways genetically modified food works. One is we can spray weed killer on it, it doesn't kill it. Number two is like with corn, it produces its own pesticide. So the corn is producing its own pesticide, so if bugs eat it, they die. Sounds like a good idea. However, there's a problem with it. We alter the DNA, the protein, that's why they can do what they do. And now the body is being exposed to this unknown protein. We as humans have never seen this sequence of amino acids together. So when you change a DNA, it's not natural. That might sound like Frankenstein's monster there, they call it Frankenfood. It's generally to allow the food to survive so that we can better harvest it. Now, when we spray things like weed killer, like glyphosate on our crops, that's usually the weed killer they use. It's made by the same company, the weed killer and the genetically modified food. Good business. Well, I'd say it's good business. It's financially rewarding business. Things like wheat. What we found is we can spray weed killer on wheat. Now, wheat's not genetically modified. So what does that mean? It kills the wheat. So it's easier to harvest. So we can harvest the wheat, saves money, but now the wheat is sprayed with glyphosate. And glyphosate, you're seeing commercials all over the TV. If you've been exposed to glyphosate and you had a certain type of cancer, you may be entitled to compensation. So finally, the lawsuits are coming out saying this stuff isn't good. And a lot of companies are starting to back off from it now too, thank goodness. But when you alter the DNA of something, it's no longer that food. More research is coming out, shedding light on the potential hazards of GMOs, genetically modified foods. A study conducted by Egyptian researchers found that rats given genetically modified soy were found to have deadly amounts of toxicity in their kidneys, their liver, their blood, and even their DNA. Does it equate to humans? Probably. I avoid genetically modified foods as much as humanly possible, but they're everywhere, especially corn. High fructose corn syrup, usually made with genetically modified corn. High fructose corn syrup is everywhere. Okay. Soybeans, if you're going to do soy, I recommend organic only. Organic wouldn't be genetically modified. Now, there is cross-pollination, cross-contamination, so there's an argument that we don't even have any non-genetically modified soy in the world anymore. Even if it's organic, it's probably been cross-contaminated some generations back. If you're going to eat soy, organic only. If you're going to eat anything, actually, try to do organic only. But corn and soy specifically, you want to make sure they're organic only. So don't do soybean oil, don't do corn oils. They're high in omega-6 fatty acids, which increase inflammation, but they're also probably genetically modified. See how much good information you learn when you listen to these shows? Look for things that are 100% organic. When you buy meat, which of course I hope you don't do, but if you do, make sure it's 100% organic, grass-fed, organic eggs, because they can't be fed genetically modified soy or corn because they're organic. Avoid processed foods as much as possible. Corn chips, for example. It's hard to avoid GMOs every day, but a little extra attention is all you need to say, okay, that's not something I'm going to eat because I know it's genetically modified. It's all about making better choices, better decisions. How can I make a better decision in life? And when it comes to food, I say this all the time, you're the one that makes these decisions. There's no reason why you should expose yourself to these things. There's so many other foods out there. You don't have to worry about genetic modification and weed killers. Just eat those. And if you don't know what to eat, go to our website, drjoe.com, type in the words, so what can I eat? And we did a whole hour show, we talked about this earlier, on what to eat. Breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks, stuffing your pantry, feeding kids, parties. It's all there. The cost, again, for a lifetime membership to access all our podcasts, all our blogs. If you have questions, send them to me or Joe, and we'll answer them for you. The cost for all of that, we're running a special. No charge. How's that? And so far, that special has been running for about 40 years now. So you want to jump on a bandwagon as soon as you can. And if you want to learn more information, you can always follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. And we post every single day at Dr. Joe Esposito. And we give tips. Sometimes it's just a testimonial. Sometimes it's a recipe. But you don't want to miss it. It's a lot of fun. And the cost for that, again, is no charge to you. So at Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. So please follow us. We need your support so we can continue to give these shows. I need you to support us so that we can support you. So tell your friends, share all our links. Whenever you get a link, share it. Please do as much as you can to help us. We appreciate that. It costs you absolutely nothing. So we thank you for that. And if you're listening to the show, I'm assuming you're enjoying and learning. So I need your help a little bit there. So at Dr. Joe Esposito, if you're a podcast junkie, go to your podcast service and type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. Dr. Joe, D-R-J-O-E, for the health of it. And there you can listen to other podcasts that we do. So we have podcasts on our website. We have podcasts on your podcast servers. We have access to questions for you. We do streams all the time. And that's why if you're following us, you'll see a pop-up. Hey, Dr. Joe's doing a quick live stream. A little pop-up push notification goes out, and then you can tune in. And we'll do things on different topics. Maybe we'll do a little 5-minute topic, a 2-minute topic. So if you're not following us, you're not going to know when these things pop up at Dr. Joe Esposito. So other things that can affect your kidneys. Fluid intake. So it's really important you drink enough fluid. Somebody asked that earlier. So people that require high fluid intake, those who eat a high protein diet, if you're eating a high fiber diet, which you should be, because the water swells up the fiber and pushes it through the colon. If you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, if you're alive, you want to make sure you maintain your fluid levels. And here's the thing. The number one way to get more energy is drink more water. It's not coffee, it's not tea, it's not drugs, water. Because your body, many times when you're hungry, you're not hungry, you're thirsty, and you think you're hungry, so you eat. Really, you should be drinking, but the water is the thing that gives you so much energy. And when you start getting on a regular water intake, and again, folks, it's free, blows your mind how much better you feel. Flushes out toxins, helps the body work better, the bowels work better, kidneys work better, sex organs work better. Everything works better with a little water. So get that fluid intake up. Now, if you drink too much water, of course, that could become an issue. But you'd have to drink a gallon or two of water to have an issue with it. 4 glasses, 6 glasses, 8 glasses a day, that's perfect. And you'll be amazed. Little thing like that how much better your health will improve. Even your brain function improves. And as a chiropractor and pain management expert and a non-surgical orthopedist and nutritionist, I want to do everything I can to help you get well and stay well. That's my goal. That's my job. Has been for 38 years. I do it every single day. And so that's why I ask you to follow us on social media, because I need your support so that we become more popular to get the word out. And if you want to make an appointment to come see us, if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, sciatica, digestive issues, heartburn, acid reflux, nutritional concerns, you can go to our website in the Atlanta area. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We would love to be your doctors. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, drjoe.com, book it right online. We accept almost all insurances. We do the filing for you. We include Medicare. If the VA sends you to us, VA covers the cost. I don't know how to make it easier for you, folks. So if you want to get well, drjoe.com, you can make an appointment right there. If you've ever been in a car accident ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. You are not stronger than your car, and I've done many. I teach postgraduate for chiropractors, orthopedists, neurologists, physical therapists, lawyers on dealing with car accident trauma. I'm certified in traumatic brain injury. So we do a lot of work to teach the doctors how to get well. You can go right to the source. So as soon as you're in an accident, come see us right away. Don't waste time. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. And even if you cause the accident, still come see us. You still hurt. If the car was damaged, you were damaged, no matter who caused the accident. Normally, the first visit is $720. We've reduced that to $299. That's a 58% discount. That's a pretty good discount. That's not just Black Friday. That's every day for a while. We're gonna change that, of course, soon. But drjoe.com, exam, x-rays, consultation, first adjustment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. If you're not ready to get well, don't waste your time. My doctors fill up very quickly, and there's a reason. My opinion is I work with some of the best doctors in the world. They treat me. So if they're treating me, I trust them to treat you. Don't waste your time if you're not serious about wanting to come in. The reason I say that is the doctors are very busy, and we want to make sure we take care of the people that are serious about wanting to get well. So if you're ready, drjoe.com, we're ready for you. Other things that can adversely affect your kidneys. Painkillers. Now, as a pain management doctor, we're really good at dealing with pain. But it can become dangerous to your kidneys if taken over a long period of time. Now, you have a headache, you're taking acetaminophen, you take some ibuprofen. That's not going to cause kidney damage. Take it every day. Now we start to have problems. Increased amount of medications can be fatal to the kidneys, especially when taken for long periods of time. This occurs when you have a chronic problem that requires drugs to be taken on a regular basis. Chiropractic, most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. I don't know how to make that any more powerful. Most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain with extremely low risk. Now, there is a risk. There's always a risk in everything in life. Very low risk, high reward, very inexpensive, very effective. Why wouldn't you do that first? I don't know why anyone would not start out with a chiropractor when it comes to pain management. Blows my mind. Because a lot of times you go to these pain management clinics, they end up sending back to us anyway. Hey, Joe, we can't deal with this one yet. Or we can't give them any more medications. We're out of what we can prescribe. You take care of them. And then the patient says, like so many other times, Dr. Joe, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I wait so long to come in here? My answer is, I don't know. I have no idea. But we have 4 offices. We can get you an appointment, usually within 24 hours, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right online or call us. We'll get that all set up for you. But the medications that cause kidney damage, there's 2 types of kidney damage. It can cause acute renal failure, which happens right away, and chronic kidney failure, which takes time. And if once it fails, it's really hard to turn it all the way around. We told a story earlier about how we've gotten patients go from, one recently from 36% function to 46% function. Her doctor is blown away. Her nephrologist, her medical doctor. We have never seen anyone improve this much in a short period of time without drugs. And the drugs don't really improve anything. It just helps the function. And so she explained to them, we go see Dr. Joe and his team. And the doctors, most doctors know who we are. I mean, we're pretty famous all around the world. And they're like, well, whatever they're doing, just keep doing it. So this should really be standard treatment. I wish it was, but unfortunately, we're working on it there. You also want to consider chiropractic care for any condition, including kidney issues. because the nerves in the mid-back, right around T11, T12, if you're a woman, right below your bra strap, that's the nerve supply that goes from the brain to the kidneys. And so by having a pinched nerve there, that can be part of the protocol that we need to fix. The diet, the function, the water intake, supplements, and then nerve supply. So this is why chiropractic care is so much more than just, hey, I got a stiff back. I got a headache. I need an adjustment. I got sciatica. Yeah, we're really good at that stuff in most cases. But you're getting a benefit of opening up the nerve supply to the organs. And when it comes to today's topic, kidneys, you want to get everything you can, all the benefits you possibly can. And so if you do want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. We talked about fish earlier. Certain fish like sardines, for example, are high in something called purine, and it develops into uric acid, and that becomes an issue. Now, we talked about uric acid. If you're doing high fructose corn syrup or even white table sugar, all sugars have to be converted into glucose to be used by the body. So if you're doing plain old white table sugar, that's 50% glucose, 50% fructose. The fructose has to be converted into glucose for your body to use it. In the process of converting fructose into glucose, you create something called uric acid. Uric acid can get in your joints and hurt. And again, as a chiropractor and a pain management doctor, we want to make sure that you're not doing that. But uric acid can get into kidneys as well. But uric acid can lower your production of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels and increases circulation to the body, the brain, the sex organs. If we have somebody come in, men or women with sexual dysfunction, we get them on a good diet. We check the nerve supply in the low back that control the sex organs. We're going to be adding other treatments as well for erectile dysfunction and for women with leaky urine or if they have sexual issues. It's called pulse wave therapy. And then we get them on nitric oxide because nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels and increases circulation. Also something I recommend for a lot of our kidney patients. And it gives you a ton of energy. Now, if you have low blood pressure, do not take nitric oxide. I have to take my nitric oxide in the morning. If I take it at night, I can't sleep. It gives me too much energy. So nitric oxide is another protocol. It's part of my supplement protocol every day. Probably should be yours too, unless you have low blood pressure. But if you're eating fish, which can be high in purine, and purine can create uric acid, nitric oxide can help flush that out as well. But you also want to stay away from the high fructose corn syrup, or really any white sugar, because again, it's 50% fructose, 50% glucose. The fructose in fruit is different because it has a bunch of other nutrients with it, so it doesn't have an adverse effect. Fructose by itself, high fructose corn syrup, agave nectar is 85% fructose, way worse than high fructose corn syrup. Want you to stay away from those for kidney function, but for other functions as well. So once again, the protocols are the protocols. Eat right, have a healthy spine. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, let's adjust the stomach away from the diaphragm. Get you on some good supplements. And now you have a plan. Most of you have health insurance, but you don't have a health care plan. Big difference. And when you come in our offices, we put together a plan for you. Long term. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was a businessman, and he said, people ask me to put together a 1-year business plan for them. He goes, won't do it. He says, we got to put together a 5-year business plan minimum, or else don't go into business. So let's put together a long-term healthcare plan for you. Because if businessmen don't want to do a 1-year plan, you shouldn't be doing a 1-year plan on your life. And it's easy. It's so easy and so quick and so inexpensive. Gosh, folks. And once you start doing it, you're going to love it. Today, I brought into the office vegan raw carrot cake cupcakes. Took me about 20 minutes to make. Staff went nuts over them. So again, these are little things that you can do. And I know that might be a little extreme for you to think, oh, raw cupcakes. All right, that's a little extreme for you, but it's not hard. It's easy. And it's very inexpensive. It's pretty impressive when you do things like that too. Minimum supplements, again, Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source because they can alkalize acid in the body. And they're complete multivitamin, fruits and vegetables in a powder form, prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes. That's the minimum supplements I think you should be taking. Then I take nitric oxide, open up my blood vessels, increase circulation, increase my brain function. I like my nitric oxide. I take digestive enzymes whenever I'm eating a cooked meal. If I'm eating a raw meal, I don't, but if I eat cooked, I eat digestive enzymes, because as you get older, your enzyme levels start to plummet. I take B-complex, adrenal support, omega-3 fatty acids for brain function. So I have a whole protocol that I put together for myself. I treated myself like a patient, and I said, what should I be taking? I take men's hormone support. Ladies, you can take women's hormone support. We have something called estrogen regulator. If you're perimenopausal or menopausal, don't take that. But everybody else, it helps prevent testosterone from converting into estrogen. So the answers are there in most cases. So I want to make sure you follow the protocols. And if you do want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. You can send us questions through the website. Please follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito is my handle, because we post every day and we have giveaways. I'm tempting you. Yes, I am. I'm going to throw bribes at you if I have to. It's nutrition. It's health facts. Sometimes we give away, like I said, concert tickets or supplements. So it's no reason not to follow us at Dr. Joe Esposito, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you're a podcast junkie, you want to follow us. The name is Dr. Joe for the Health of It, DRJOE for the Health of It. And then you can follow us there as well. So today we're talking about kidney issues. Oh, you want to make an appointment? Again, drjoe.com. Dyes and contrast if you have imaging done. That's why I don't like to ever order imaging MRIs with contrast, because that contrast has to come out of your body and it can damage your kidneys. And again, we don't know how much damage it's going to cause until it's too late. If you have infections, bladder infections, urinary tract infections, social infections, keep it clean here. Those can be things that if you're not addressing them, that could put strain on the kidneys as well. So that's why for my immune system, I take, we have Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic and Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster. I don't talk a lot about them, but they're two of our superstars when it comes to supplements. Wellness Booster every day. It has Echinacea paldiarco olive leaf extract, help keep the immune system strong, especially in these tough times. It's really strong, too. It's very powerful. That one has a little alcohol in it. So if you're an alcoholic, I don't recommend that one. But it's so little, it's not going to have an effect on anybody else. The Seasonal Tonic is really powerful. And once you get on Seasonal Tonic, you're going to become a person for life. And if it's an active infection, that's when I take the Seasonal Tonic. And they're very strong flavors, too. So all the supplements we talked about are on the website, drjoe.com. You can come pick them up at our offices, save the shipping. I'm perfectly fine. I don't want to pay the post office if I don't have to. And you can find out our offices and our hours on the website, drjoe.com. In fact, we're adding an extra day to our West Cobb office because it's getting so busy. So you can see the hour changes there. If you have questions, send them to me through the website. What are you going to do? Follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito, Dr. Joe for the Health of It, podcast. I don't know how to make it easier for you, folks. We have 4 offices. We're going to open up another one. I haven't even made that announcement yet. We're going to be up another one soon. I'll be making that announcement soon. But we want to be your doctors. We want to get you well and keep you well. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, please make an appointment right now. We book up very quickly, drjoe.com. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show.